Hello guys, and welcome to another one of my little videos. I have recently been a guest on the Star Wars Timeline podcast. I had a great time talking to Ben, and here's a little clip from that. You can find the link to the full podcast on the Star Wars Timeline channel down in the description below.
Now looking at this whole trilogy that came out, and we got the Rise of the Skywalker, and that's how the story ends, folks. What would you say is each movie's accomplishments and shortcomings?
The Force Awakens, I would say, is the best of the three.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It definitely, like, I remember I went to see it in the theater like 5 times, which I didn't do for any of the other Disney Star Wars films. Of course, the main reason was it was like the first Star Wars movie in theaters for like what, 10 years at least?
Yeah, the hype was crazy.
When did it come out?
2005 was the release of the Revenge of the Sith, and 2015, so 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. So yeah, it was the first Star Wars movie in theaters in 10 years. Well, not counting the
Clone Wars one, right?
Clone Wars movie, but yeah. So I was super excited just for that, and I think they got the even though it was basically a remake of the original Star Wars, it was a good one. I mean, they got the feeling right. It was exciting. It was adventurous. The acting was very good, I thought. And even the script was basically Star Wars, so like you can't really go wrong there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I really enjoyed that one, and I still do occasionally, which is not something I can say for the other two. I only, I think I saw The Last Jedi like twice since
Just to make sure, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, like rewatching it later, like and that was usually with someone who hasn't seen it yet. And then the Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker, I only saw once after seeing it in theaters. It came out on some streaming platform. I think it wasn't even Disney Plus at that point, because we didn't get Disney Plus here for quite a while. So we've only had it for like the last couple of years or something. So I think it came out on HBO or Netflix or something. So I decided to give it another chance, and like it was basically a chore to get through.
Yeah. With me, I would say I would agree with you that all of my friends that I took to see The Force Awakens in 2015, there was like a group of 10 or 15 people of us. I bought like a whole line of tickets.
Yeah.
We obviously, it's hard to judge. That's why we're doing this retrospect podcast. When you're in the moment and exhilaration and adrenaline rush is there, we all loved it. And immediately, right after theater, you circle each other in a group and you talk about it. We're like, well, yeah, their key moments were too similar. We got the droids with secrets, blah, blah, blah. Luke is not even in the film. But generally, the response was very good. And I think people were very forgiving that, okay, it follows the same footsteps, same blueprint of A New Hope. But it's, I guess, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The formula works. It stuck together pretty well. It was a neat package. Unlike you, I actually loved The Last Jedi. I really enjoyed it. I really like what they were doing with Luke Skywalker. This unfamiliar Luke. It's like, hey, what? He's this fallen hero? Like he's hiding away. What's going on there? Right?
I think we probably discussed this the last time as well.
Right, we did. Because it kind of paralleled the what I read in the books a lot. But now I'm slowly turning around, and I still enjoy it, guys. I'm not going to dramatically change my opinion just because so-and-so said online. But now I see the other side, too, and why a lot of fans just want this basic escapist story. That we want our knight in the shining armor again, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, it's inconsistent with the character that we know from the original trilogy, I was gonna say I actually liked The Last Jedi when I first saw it.
Hmm.
I didn't like a lot what they did with Luke, but the rest of it I thought was pretty good. But then upon rewatching it, I found it more like boring than the first time I saw it. And
Which
like
is
some of
fair,
the
you know.
parts, like the casino planet and all that,
Yeah,
like
the
it
Cantabite
drags.
and like and
Yeah,
jumping on
yeah,
the
yeah.
horses. We're gonna
Yeah.
liberate, the
Uh,
planet.
and also like I think the biggest fault of The Last Jedi is how badly it set things up for the next movie. I think I don't even fault I don't even fault J.J. Abrams that much for how bad The Rise of Skywalker was,
Right.
because what he had to work with was very limited.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
quite incoherent. Now looking back at it, I
yeah,
think for me, what brought down and unraveled the entire trilogy, the potential of it,
yeah,
is the Rise of Skywalker, where you now see all three movies next to each other. You see how much dissonance is between each story and characters. And when you look at the Rise of Skywalker, I didn't like the Return of the Emperor. I always thought it's a very cheap trick in books or movies to try to revive a dead villain. I
terrible.
thought that demystifying Rey Skywalker and giving her a background that she's a Palpatine now, but she's not going to follow her bloodline. Oh, she needs to sign up with the Skywalker family to feel significant about herself. I felt all of it was unnecessary. She really worked great as this unknown child, this
Yep,
hero
yep.
who is finding herself in this universe. I felt it was such a strong concept, but when you have a bad landing, it kind of sours the entire experience for you.
But the whole time I thought she was gonna be like someone important, but not in terms of like who's her parents or whatever, but like maybe I thought maybe she was like the strongest student at Luke's academy, and then they somehow erased her memory and put her on that desert planet
That's
to
actually awesome.
yeah, to like hide her from Kylo Ren because
Hmm.
he was hunting down all the Jedi from Luke's academy. And I thought that was gonna be the reveal, and that would actually explain all the Mary Sue stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like, how did she know how to do all this?
Hmm.
That, but it didn't work
It
out
didn't
that
go
way.
that route. Yeah, especially when you look at, I have two of the three making of art books of the first and the second film, or
Right.
episode, 7 and 8, and you look at all of this brainstorming ideas and concept art and think there are so many juicy, interesting ideas, but because of the insanely rushed project that was TFA, that Disney was like 2 years, 2 years, you have to do it, you have to do it. JJ, I'm rewriting the script. All of these elements piling up together really didn't do it service. And you
Yep.
end up with something that's like, scrap everything, we're just going to repeat the original film because that's the time limit. Because there's a lot of also, rocky, like underwater stones that get in your way sometimes that as a filmmaker you can't foresee.
Yeah, that's true. Uh, yeah, I think the biggest problem of the sequel trilogy is that there was no plan.
Hmm.
Like George Lucas, I think he exaggerates a bit about like how much of a plan he had for
Yeah,
like the entire
a
saga
little.
right from the beginning, but he
Yeah,
definitely had some sort of notion of where he wanted the story to go.
yeah.
Whereas I have a feeling that with the sequel trilogy, they have no idea whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like when they just made The Force Awakens, and then they gave it to another director who just came up with his own ideas,
Hmm.
disregarding completely that there would be another movie after it. So I think what it needed was a sort of a showrunner, yeah, like you get in on TV shows, who would like oversee that everything lines up.
George.
Yeah,
George,
yeah,
don't look. He's right
yes,
there. He was willing to do it. But sometimes the fans who are so adamant about the mastery of George Lucas, which we all love. I mean, he's the grandpa. He's the storyteller. We all adore and worship him. But when fans try to, no, he started through in here and here. I mean, when you look at Luke, Han, and Leia and The New Hope, which is basically a love triangle, and then you look at their kiss, a diversionary kiss in Empire Strikes Back, come on. And like, I'm your father. And like, are you serious? Like, but it was so meditative. And it was adding up to this sculpture that they're slowly and carefully planning out and say, what if we do this? What if we turn this little sequence on its head? And this guy who was the villain in the first movie, he's not going to be the father. That's our twist. You know, they took their time. They were cooking it slowly. And that's why you get this timeless classic on your hand.
Yep. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and may the Schwartz be with you.